Should the Miami Dolphins go after Victor Cruz? Now, this is an interesting question because we have Kenny Stills impending free agency. There are question marks with Devontae Parker. Is he a number one guy? Can he be consistent? He has, ever since he got into the NFL, injuries have plagued him. He hasn't been consistent on any kind of stretch of the imagination, but he shows flashes at the end of the year of greatness. So I understand why Dolphins fans look at Victor Cruz and say they kind of have that nostalgic feeling of way back in the day to 2011 where he had an insane season, but you have to look at it in a rational sense. Is he a scheme fit? Can he somehow tap into that old Victor Cruz? These are the things we're going to talk about. So I think first and foremost we have to start with, is he a schematic fit? Now, why we want Kenny Stills back so bad is because we're a run-first offense. We found our identity last season. That's how we got on that huge win streak. We're a run-first offense, and when that happens, teams bring that extra safety down to the box to help stop the run. Now, when they do that, you have to have a receiver. If you have a receiver in that offense who can take the top off of a defense and can just light up a secondary, it doesn't have to be a number one guy. It's a special thing to have that on your offense when you have a deep threat like that, an elite deep threat receiver. It's like playing with fire when you're a defensive coordinator. When you bring that safety up to try to stop the run, you know as a defensive coordinator, they have somebody like Kenny Stills who can just run by everybody. And off-play actions, it's so deadly to guard an offense that's that versatile. We saw that with the Atlanta we saw that with the Atlanta Falcons with Julio Jones and Tyler Gabriel. Who do you stop? Devontae Freeman, Coleman. Who do you stop? So we have that kind of in our offense. We need somebody like a Tyler Gabriel who can take the top off the defense. Perfect example of that was against the San Diego Chargers, where Pagano brought the safety up to try to help contain the run game in Jay Ajayi. And when he did that, great call by Adam Gase. We hit the play action, and a beautiful throw to Kenny Stills, one of the best throws of the year. It was just like, that's the kind of stuff that Kenny Stills brings to the table. Same thing, perfect example against the Jets. The Jets bring a blitz, they bring a zero-man coverage blitz, and Kenny Stills makes them pay for that. So that is what a schematic fit is. That is what this offense needs, and it needs that. It needs to still have that. Hopefully we can retain Kenny Stills. That would be huge for this offense, especially familiarity with Ryan Tannehill. The chemistry is there. Doesn't have to go through a whole new receiver core if we bring in somebody like a Victor Cruz and Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garçon, somebody. So for those reasons, Kenny Stills fits our scheme like a glove. You are literally playing with a volcano of explosion if you bring that safety up. Kenny Stills can burn, and he can run by anybody. He's one of the fastest receivers in the NFL. He's such a perfect schematic fit. It makes your offense more versatile, makes it more dangerous to hit that big play. That was a huge factor in our offense last season against the Bills. So many big plays to Kenny Stills against the Cardinals. That's another play action fake over the top to Kenny Stills. He is such an important factor in our offense. Now, can Victor Cruz, who's never been a guy who just runs by everybody like Kenny Stills, with that elite, like Deshaun Jackson elite speed, he's never been that. He's always been a great route runner, strong hands, great run after the catch receiver. He has that in him. But Jarvis Landry does the same thing that Victor Cruz does. Victor Cruz cannot do what Kenny Stills does in our offense. He cannot. No defensive coordinator, especially these last past seasons because he's been unhealthy, he's going to have to prove himself again. No defensive coordinator is going to fear Victor Cruz in our offense. It does not make it more versatile because he doesn't bring anything different that we don't already have. He's basically Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry is a better receiver than Victor Cruz is ever going to be now. So it just doesn't bring any of that. He's not a schematic fit. We already have, like I said, he doesn't bring any type of versatility. He doesn't bring anything new to the table. So that's one reason I don't think we should go after Victor Cruz. Another reason is we have so many other problems on this offense. What are we going to do with Brandon Albert? What are we going to do with Jermon Bushrod? Not just that, obviously the defense, which is something we need to focus on more than anything. The linebacker core is desperate. It's been in desperate need of repairs for like 4 years to 5 seasons now. It's something we need to get fixed for sure. We have problems defensive tackle. Earl Mitchell, not a 3-down guy. We need to get younger at defensive end. We have those kinds of things that we need to figure out in this upcoming offseason. The last thing we need to figure out is if Victor Cruz can somehow tap into that old Victor Cruz that we haven't seen since 2011. 2012 was his second best season, and he barely went over 1,000 yards. Now, I 100% understand that Victor has always dealt with these injuries. I understand that, but that's another reason we shouldn't take a chance on him. And again, it's kind of like that situation with Greg Jennings, where the Vikings kind of fell into that trap, and we kind of sort of did, but for different reasons. The Vikings thought Greg Jennings could be the Greg Jennings that he was with the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, they were basing that off of what he has done in the past, not what he has done in the present. Same thing with Victor Cruz. And we are infamous as a football team, especially in free agency, of getting players that do not fit our scheme and do not fit what we are trying to build as an organization. Adam has said that repeatedly since he's been here, that he's trying to build it like the New England Patriots. He's trying to get players. I don't care if he was terrible with you, with, like, say the Jets. He was terrible with the Jets. If you fit our scheme, then you're going to be successful here. That's what Adam's trying to build here. Like I said, Victor doesn't bring anything new to the table. He's he's just a distraction, if anything. I don't think anybody in the Dolphins organization is taking this serious, or even thinking about getting Victor Cruz. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think you could tell me one reason why we should get Victor Cruz. And that's no disrespect to Victor Cruz. Like I said, he has injury problems, doesn't bring anything new to the table. And it doesn't do what he does, and what he's going to do for the rest of his career is what Jarvis and Devontae Parker already do better than he does it now. And that doesn't mean Victor can't go to somewhere like, LA, or another LA team in the Chargers, somewhere where they need a receiver like that. That doesn't mean that he can't do that. I'm sure he will be successful in that kind of an offense. He would be successful in a quick timing offense like ours. He would be, but we already have players that do it better than he does it now. We do not need another Victor Cruz. Now, if in the scenario that it would be, like, we'll play devil's advocate, I guess, for Victor Cruz, how would this be a benefit to the Dolphins offense? He does fit a quick passing scheme because he has that run after the catch ability that you need in that offense, like a Julian Edelman, like a Chris Hogan. So he does have that. Now, can he do that at an elite level again? I don't know. He kind of showed that. Like, a lot of people forget, he did not have that bad of a season last season. He averaged 15 yards a catch. He almost hit 600 yards in an offense where a lot of people need the ball in their hands. So he does have that going for him. He does have that going for him in terms of schematic fit, but my argument is that we already have players that do that better than him. Now, could he add depth? Would he want to go to somewhere that somewhere like that adds depth? I think we already have enough depth. That's why we drafted Leonte Carroo. That's why we drafted some of these players. I think, if anything, if Kenny Stills walked away, we need to go get somebody like a Deshaun Jackson, or go in the draft and get somebody who's a deep threat and fits our scheme. He just doesn't bring anything new to the table. Now, again, to play devil's advocate for Victor Cruz, he does fit our offense like that. It would be interesting to see if he can somehow tap into that old Victor Cruz, if he can come back healthy, can play a 16-game season, play even more games in the playoffs, and stay healthy, and be that Victor Cruz who's an elite run after the catch receiver. At the time, in 2011, he was by far the best run after the catch receiver. He's got some of the strongest hands in the NFL. He's a great one-on-one threat. So he would add that to the Dolphins offense. It would be awesome to see that. Again, the nostalgia's hitting me right now even thinking about it. If he could do that in our offense, of course. I just don't think he can do that anymore. So I don't know. You could drink the poison, and maybe it's like, gambling. Maybe you hit the jackpot big. He can somehow reach that elite level, or is he just a subpar